In today's Family Focus, the 20th anniversary of September 11th is days away. Parents know America forever changed that day, but young children seeing the terror may have tough questions or feel scared or nervous. What's the best way to talk to our kids about these big topics? Dr. Carole Lieberman is a psychiatrist and author here to help us put it in perspective for our children and for our families. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Your books tackle a lot of tough topics that families, everyday families face. And so I wanted to get your take on how to have these conversations with our children when they start to hear about terrorism or terrorists. The first tip is to make sure you have these conversations, right? Don't avoid having these difficult conversations with our children.
Yes, some parents feel very awkward about it. Yeah. I call it the birds and the bees talk for the 21st century.
Sure.
Because just like that, parents feel awkward talking about sex, but we have to talk about it because terrorism isn't going away, unfortunately. And now we have a way to start the conversation with all of the television accounts about 9/11 coming up and so on. And we need to ask kids, first of all, how they feel when they see some of these things on television. You can't think that kids don't know. They're confused. They don't understand everything that's going on, like in Afghanistan and so on. But you have to explain to them. They want to understand it, and they hear about it from their friends if you don't tell them about it. And you have to have the conversation. That's the first thing.
Okay, so we have to be prepared as parents, and we have to be prepared to answer the questions that they may have about the attacks and make sure we come at them with facts so that we don't get emotional and start to bring up our own anxieties about 9/11 or about terrorism.
Yes. Of course, depending upon the age, you can talk about it, in more or less detail. But even with younger kids, for example, they want to know, what is a terrorist? Yeah. So in my book, Lions and Tigers and Terrorists, Oh My, How to Protect Your Child in a Time of Terror, I give half of it is for parents and teachers, and half of it is for kids, a picture book. So there's a picture of a bully on a playground. Mm-hmm. What is a terrorist? A terrorist is like a bully on the playground. He wants you to play by his rules, go according to his laws. Another typical question would be, why do terrorists want to hurt us? Why do they set off explosions? And I talk about an explosion is like a temper tantrum. When a terrorist, sets off an explosion, it's like they're having a temper tantrum. And when you have a temper tantrum, you don't get your way, do you? Well, the terrorists aren't going to get their way either. These are just examples.
Dr. Lieberman, your books bring it to real life situations, and it's okay we have your books as great resources, but it's all right to not have all the answers.
Yes, the only thing that's not all right is to lie. I mean, basically, it's to say things in such a way that because you think you don't want to scare them. There are ways to say it that don't scare them, but don't lie, because then that makes kids even more frightened. Because if you tell them some story and then they hear about the truth from their friends or their teacher, then they're going to feel even worse because they won't be able to trust you.
Have honest, open conversations with our children and emphasize hope and emphasize also that they are safe with their families. Dr. Carole Lieberman, thank you so much for being with us this morning. For parents who want to get more information and to be able to get your books, how can they find that?
Well, they can go to my website, terroristtherapist.com, and there's lots of information there about how to talk to kids and so on, in addition to being able to get to the book, and of course on Amazon as well. But the main thing, I just want to say this, the main thing is building resilience in kids.
Very good. Great message this morning. Building resilience, giving our children the tools that they need to feel safe in their own homes and safe from terrorism. Dr. Lieberman, thank you for your time this morning. 10 till 10, let's get a check.